خايف حياة ربي مش لي نفس والله بدي أروح.
For more than 2 years now, the world has borne witness to children caught at the centre of a genocide that has been live-streamed directly to our screens.
So we found 96% of children believe their death to be imminent, 49% wanting to die, and I think that statistic is particularly acute.
Over 64,000 children have been either killed or injured in Gaza, a place whose population is nearly half made up of children since October 2023, according to UNICEF. Having lived through multiple wars since 2007, what impact has the war had on the mental health of Gaza's children? I spoke to Dr. Haneen Dara, a child psychologist, about the symptoms she is observing among the children she works with in Gaza.
Regression in developmental benchmarks. So a 4-year-old who's already been potty trained regressed in the developmental benchmarks. Of course, executive function skills, which is the ability to focus, plan, be aware of your surroundings, plan for your future. We are seeing a lot of ADHD-like symptoms, but children don't have ADHD, but it is a response to the traumatic events and the ongoing traumatic events that they are going through. Nightmares, jitteriness, hyperarousal, inability to sleep, inability to focus, constant recurring memories from something that they have witnessed.
Since the US brokered ceasefire came into effect 3 weeks ago, dozens of Israeli airstrikes have killed hundreds of Palestinians, including around 50 children. Kieran King, head of humanitarian at War Child, explained that despite the ceasefire, Palestinian children do not feel safe.
We know, for example, even just hearing reports from our own staff and the children of our own staff, that their children are terrified. They remain terrified. There are still airstrikes landing on Gaza, landing on children in Gaza. So that collective trauma, that compounded complex trauma, this continues to be exacerbated.
Around 20,000 children have been killed, more than 17,000 have been separated from their families or orphaned, and Gaza has the highest number of child amputees per capita in the world. Last December, War Child released a study that provided numerical insight into the mental health of Gaza's children.
So we found 96% of children believe their death to be imminent, 49% wanting to die, and I think that statistic is particularly acute. And also how 4 out of 5 children showed signs of acute trauma, so that's things such as nightmares, severe anxiety, withdrawal, selective mutism, and even physical pain. And since then, things got a lot worse, so that was about as bad as it gets, and I think most people would say they hadn't seen the psychological impact of war to the scale. It's total. So the idea that you have trauma, acute trauma at a population level, that's something we've never witnessed before. And I think one of the unique features of the war is that generally in other conflicts, families are able to flee, or if they're not able to flee, that they attempt to flee, and as you get further away from the source of conflict, services increase, right? In Gaza, that wasn't possible. People displaced multiple times, even our staff.
ضربوا ناس، هذول الناس كانت أختي جنبيهم، ولما عاد نزل الصاروخ أختي من أول ما هذا اتصاوبت في راسها عند النافوخ. قعدت 3 أيام في العناية المركزة، 3 يوم جا خبر استشهادها. يعني هذا شيء مش طبيعي كنا. الله يرحمها.
Even children evacuated to safety face a long journey ahead.
This child is 4, and he got a medical evacuation into Egypt, and he had to be separated from his mother and his brother, who didn't get permittance to go into Egypt. And they sent us the video of him saying goodbye to his younger brother, who's 2, and his mother. And you look at this boy and you look at his facial expressions. He's not a child. You see a man. You see a man in his face. You see someone with his backpack carrying the burdens, trying to calm down his 2-year-old brother and his mother. But you see resilience. You see children, especially the young ones. So when we go to schools in Cairo, for example, and we offer the psychological help and we ask the teachers, who needs the most? Give me, the most acute cases, the most severe cases, and, the least affected. And they always say the adults are the most affected and the babies are the best. And we know this from psychology, very, very much like our body. Babies heal very quickly. Like if If babies break their bones, the healing process is very quick. The cells regenerate very quickly. Same with psychological processes.
What does the future of Gaza look like with a generation of traumatized youth?
I can't pretend that we know, because of course we don't. And what's stopping us from knowing that now, I guess, is the absence of any recognizable governing authority in Gaza, or particular sustainable solution to one at this stage. We know trauma really breaks down societal structures. We know caregivers are killed, so children lose their societal structure and those protection mechanisms at the community level. Children in Gaza, to be successful in their future lives, need to be the agents of their own change. And at the moment, that's not the narrative.
According to Kieran, accountability will play a huge role in the healing of Palestinian children.
There's not going to be any peace, really, without accountability and without justice. So accountability is not optional, doesn't come later, it's integral to any political process. And that's something that the children of Gaza are not going to be able to recover from until they see member states, signatories of the 48 Genocide Convention, holding Israel to account.
Much has been said about rebuilding Gaza, a process that will take years to clear the rubble and restore what has been lost. But unless the deep psychological wounds of children can begin to heal, the foundations of any future society will be fragile.